Alright, the other day I posted, some of the sheaths I had made out of an old backpack. And I kept trying to figure out how to write a description of what I did, and I just couldn't figure out how to type it up, so I figured it'd be easier just to make the video and show you. The entire project started with this knife right here. I needed a sheath for it, and so I made the duct tape sheath. And it works, it's functional, it just doesn't look very pretty. So, I had an old backpack I didn't need anymore, and it was on the verge of getting thrown away, and so I thought I'd see what I can make out of it. For this sheath, all I did was just take the fabric, fold it over, run a straight stitch up and down it a few times to give it some strength. Did the same thing on this side, and then just turned the whole thing inside out, and just made kind of like a sock. And then what I did after that, it's probably easier this way. After I made the after I made the whole thing, then put the duct tape liner in there, and it works. But, unfortunately, I forgot to put a belt loop on it. So, I faced the idea of either tearing this one apart and putting it back together, or just trying to make a new one. I figured I'd use some more of the materials and see what I could do. For this one, which was the next one, I did remember the belt loop, but what I did was take, let me grab this here, this is a similar pack to the one I used, and it has these strips of nylon webbing in the back here to hold in the aluminum stays. So I used that fabric, and I even used the Velcro from this part on this. And what I did, on the bottom, from end to end, on the bottom it's just one strip of webbing. And on the top it's a shorter strip, and what I did, I took the webbing and then sewed the outer fabric, the camouflage fabric, over the front of it, just to give it a little bit more look, because the plain black webbing didn't look all that great. So I sewed this together like this, and then put it on top, and then the whole thing was stitched together. I did the same thing on the top here. Try and get it so you can see it. This top is, a piece like this with the webbing inside, and then I just stitched it onto the sheath. And like I said, most of that was just done for looks, And then even this was added as an afterthought, so that I could attach other things like this. See, you don't have to worry about it coming off. But, it just makes it a little bit easier to carry. One of the things I can tell you right off the bat, whenever you start, make sure you add, if you're going to put Velcro or anything on, do it before you do all the final stitches, because on this one, after I put it together, I realized that I hadn't sewn the bit of Velcro on back here, and I had to take all the stitches out and redo it. But, and I don't know if you can see, most of my stitches aren't all that pretty. but they're strong. And to me, I'm going for strength more than looks. I prefer it looks okay, but I'd rather it be strong than look neat. You know, so everything's done. You know, I run a stitch one way, and then do a reverse stitch, and back and forth, usually 4 or 5 times, and then turn it, do the same thing, and you know, just do every single seam that way, so I don't have to worry about any of it coming apart, especially the Velcro, because I've had so much gear that had Velcro that just peels right off after a little bit of use. So, and as you can see right there, there is a ton of stitches in there. You know, this Velcro is never coming off. You know, same right there. You know, down there. But this is how they ended up. You know, and I didn't line these ones with anything. This one I need to, well, on this one, after carrying it around a little bit, I realized that the knife could poke through right here. And that's the other thing too, I guess, show you. The sheath is actually longer than the knife. You know, so you don't have to worry about it poking through the bottom. But what I did here, I took an extra little piece of webbing I had, and I sewed it onto the back. Makes a little pocket. I could probably put something in there, but I'm more interested it's to keep the tip of the knife from poking out and getting me in the leg at some point. You know, and of course this sheath, same exact thing. You know, it's more of that webbing from the back. And again, stitches aren't necessarily the neatest thing, but they're strong. That's not going to come apart. You know, and I did the same thing with sandwiching the, you know, outside camo fabric with the webbing. And then the one for my fire steel, I did this one a little differently. This was actually stripped like this, and what this is the webbing that goes on the shoulder straps. And I took a length of it and stitched the outside camo fabric the whole way around. And then I used, this is the webbing from the belt, from the waist belt. And I just stitched it in one piece the whole way around, and then added on everything I wanted on top of it, like, you know, the belt loop. Oh, and this one too was another one. I forgot to add the Velcro before I stitched it together, so I ended up adding this little piece of webbing with the Velcro on it, so I didn't have to tear it back apart. But it makes a nice little sheath. And this one's just a little tiny one for the magnesium bar. I'm one of those people, I love to cut the bars in half, because that's way more magnesium than I'm ever going to use. You'll wear out the striker before you get through the bar. So, alright, kind of new to this whole YouTube video thing, so I hope this isn't too terrible. Alright, thanks for watching.